All right, let's dive into one of the most critical pieces of your financial life, the emergency fund. And look, this isn't just about stashing away some cash. This is about building a wall between you and financial chaos. It's about buying yourself some genuine peace of mind. So let's just get real for a second. Imagine your car sputters to a stop on the way to work. The mechanic calls and says, "Yep, it's going to be 400 bucks." Do you have that money right now in cash, ready to go? Or does your heart sink and your hands start reaching for a credit card? If that question makes you a little nervous, you are definitely not alone. The Federal Reserve found that a whopping 37% of American adults could not cover that exact $400 expense. Let that sink in. More than 1 out of every 3 people are one flat tire, one leaky pipe away from a real financial problem.
But, and this is a big but, there is a way to handle this. It's your emergency fund. And I love this description. It's like a shock absorber for the bumps of life. Its whole purpose is to smooth out those unexpected, jarring hits so you don't get thrown off course and into a ditch of high-interest debt.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's talk about why this isn't just some nice thing to have. No, this is probably the most important tool in your entire financial toolkit. So what are we really talking about here? An emergency fund, at its heart, is just a pile of cash you've set aside for one reason and one reason only: to bail you out when a real crisis hits. We're talking about things like losing your job, getting a surprise medical bill, or needing an urgent repair on your car or home. It's your financial firewall. All right, but saying a stash of money isn't really helpful, is it? We need a number, a concrete goal to shoot for. So, how much do you actually need to save? Okay, the gold standard, the number you hear everywhere for a reason, is 3 to 6 months worth of your essential monthly expenses. And listen, that word essential is key. We're not talking about your total paycheck. We're talking about the bare bones minimum you need to survive if your income vanished tomorrow. Think rent, utilities, groceries, gas, the absolute must-pays. Now, that 3 to 6 months rule isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. You've got to tailor it to your life. For example, if you're the only source of income and you own a home, where a furnace could die at any moment, you're carrying more risk. You should probably lean towards 6 months, maybe even more. But if you're in a dual-income household and you rent, you've got a bit more of a safety net. So 3 or 4 months might be a totally reasonable target. It's all about being honest about your own situation. So, you've got your number. Next big question, where do you actually keep this money? And this is so important because putting it in the wrong spot can either make it totally useless when you need it or, honestly, just leave free money on the table. Just look at this. The difference between a regular old savings account and a high-yield savings account, or HYSA, is huge. Right now, the national average interest rate is, like 0.62%? That's next to nothing. Meanwhile, you can easily find HYSAs paying over 4%. We're talking about almost 7 times the earning power. That lets your money actually make you a little bit of money while it's just sitting there, waiting. So let's just lay out the non-negotiables. Your emergency fund has to be in a high-yield savings account, period. It needs to be FDIC insured, which just means your money is protected up to $250,000. It's got to be liquid. You need to be able to get your hands on that cash in a couple of days. And this is a big one. Keep it in a separate account from your daily checking. And for the love of all that is holy, it is absolutely not to be invested in the stock market. This money cannot be at risk. Okay, I hear you. All this sounds great, but what if you're literally starting from scratch? That 3 to 6 month goal can feel like trying to climb a mountain. So let's forget the mountain for a minute. Let's focus on building a base camp. Let's talk about how you get your first $1,000 saved. The game plan here is super simple. First, don't even think about the big number. Your only goal is a mini fund of $1,000. To get there fast, you might need to go on a temporary spending freeze. We're talking about cutting back on wants, not needs. But the real secret sauce? You gotta automate it. Set up a transfer to happen the day you get paid, before you can even touch it. You have to pay yourself first. And hey, if your budget is already stretched to the max, a side hustle can be a total game changer. For example, you could hit that $1,000 goal by delivering food for about 53 hours. Or if you've got some freelance skills, you could get there in as little as 26 hours. That makes this first big step feel way more achievable, right? Awesome. Once you have that first $1,000 in the bank, you've got momentum. You've proven to yourself you can do it. Now it's time to put the pedal to the metal and get to that full 3 to 6 month goal. Let's look at some ways to supercharge it.
These are simple tricks, but they work. Anytime you get a chunk of unexpected cash, like a tax refund or a bonus from work, it has one destination: the emergency fund. Don't even think about it. You could also try those apps that round up your purchases and save the spare change. And here's a huge one. When you get a raise, pretend you didn't. Just set up an automatic transfer for the new amount before that lifestyle creep has a chance to set in.
So building the fund is one thing, but honestly, that's only half the battle. Now we have to talk about how to protect it, which means setting some hard and fast rules for when you can, and more importantly, when you can't touch it.
You've got to avoid these common traps. First, a credit card is not an emergency fund. That's just a fast track to debt. Also, once your fund is full, stop. Don't just keep hoarding cash. It's time to start investing for your future. And probably the biggest mistake, treating it like a vacation fund. It has one job and a trip to the beach, ain't it?
So let's be crystal clear. An emergency is something that's unexpected, urgent, and necessary. Your transmission blowing up? That's an emergency. Losing your job? Emergency. A sudden root canal? Yep, emergency. A last-minute flight for a wedding, concert tickets, or holiday shopping? Those are not emergencies. Knowing the difference is everything.
And look, eventually, you're gonna have to use it. That's what it's for. When that happens, your mission is simple. Get back to DEFCON 1. Refill it immediately. The second you spend that money, you flip back into intense savings mode. Pause all the fun spending and make rebuilding that fund your #1 priority again.
So I really want you to reframe how you think about this. An emergency fund isn't a ball and chain. It's not about restricting yourself. It is the exact opposite. It's the key that unlocks freedom. Freedom from that gut-wrenching financial fear. It's what gives you the power to handle a crisis with confidence, not panic. It's about taking back control.
And there you have it. That's the playbook. You know why you need it, you know how much to save, you know where to keep it, and you know exactly how to start, even from zero. Your financial safety net is right there, waiting for you to build it. So the only question left is, what's your first step going to be?